Hi, my name is Jeremy Brunansky, and you're about to watch a brand new episode of Brunanskys Vlog. This is a weekly show that drops every Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube. In this show, we cover movie news, movie reviews, and a little bit more. If this is your first time with us, consider clicking that subscribe button. For everybody who's returning, thank you so much. And as always, if you enjoy any portion of this show, give me that thumbs up button. Let's go ahead and cut now to this week's episode. Good morning. It's Monday morning. It's 10 a.m. PST. You're right here on YouTube about to watch a brand new episode of Brunansky's Vlog. Thanks for stopping by. This week we have some exciting news stories to talk about that we're going to dive into and take a really good look at, plus a few honorable mentions. And then right after that, don't go anywhere because we have movie reviews. This week we have two spoiler-filled reviews for A Wrinkle in Time and Gringo. So if you have any interest in seeing those movies or you've seen the movies and you're curious about my thoughts, you're definitely going to want to stick around for the movie review segment. Then right after that, don't go anywhere because we still have more content to cover. We're going to take a look at what's arriving at your local theater, what's arriving on DVD and Blu-ray for your home theater, and my personal favorite segment, Certified Rad. All right, I don't want to take up any more time on this introduction. It's 10 a.m. PST. You're on YouTube watching a brand new episode of Brunansky's Vlog, so let's go ahead and roll now to the news. In the news, Michael Bay has his next two films already lined up according to Variety. Bay will be working on 6 Underground and Robopocalypse. Link for the Variety article in the description box below. So part of me is excited about this because the first story, 6 Underground, is an original idea. It's an original concept. So new films coming out, right? We're not rehashing old stuff. We're not revamping. We're not retooling. We're not reimagining. Like, it's just a brand new concept, a brand new idea that's coming out. And that's pretty exciting. So I like that aspect of it. I like that idea that we're going to get this brand new property, this brand new IP that's going to drop. And Michael Bay is going to be in charge of it, which means it'll probably have some really great action and CGI. As far as the characters and everything else go, we'll have to wait and see as to who they cast and so on and so forth. Just the general, like, high-level overview, right? It sounds like it could be pretty cool because it's an original idea. And it's an original idea written by the guys who did Deadpool and Deadpool 2. So that implies that there's going to be possibly a nice level of comedy mixed in with the action, which is always nice if, you know, you're into action comedies, which seem to have been gaining more ground as of late. So I'm definitely excited about that because I'd like to see what Michael Bay can do with an action comedy that may be in the vein of a Deadpool film. So Robopocalypse feels like it just falls right into Michael Bay's wheelhouse. It's a story about a robot uprising, which basically is like Transformers. But if we can get away from the Transformers franchise and just let him focus on new characters and a new story, let his brain kind of go to work with his successes and failures in the Transformers franchise, and try and figure out how to move forward with something better and something new and fresh, I think that might actually be good for him because he can take what he's done, really evaluate it, look at it and go, this worked, this didn't work. I've got brand new characters that most people aren't familiar with. So he's going to have a little bit more leeway, right? Because that built-in fan base of what you would get from a Transformers franchise isn't as prevalent with this new Robopocalypse. So he's going to have a little bit of a grace to it where if something slips up and doesn't really land, that's okay because our expectation for the most part is just going to be based on what we get from the characters as we're watching the film. So I think that's a pretty good deal for him to be able to come in and create a new robot movie where our expectation is just that it's going to look great and the robots, when they come to life, will also probably look pretty great. And then as we're experiencing the movie in the theater, then we can say, oh, okay, so now I see some similarities between the Transformers films he did, but does it knock it out of the park? We'll have to wait and see. And I'm looking forward to seeing what casting looks like as well as that first trailer. So fingers crossed Bay is able to deliver on both of these properties because they sound very different, even though the similarity for both of these films is action, which Michael Bay is known for. He is known for action films. He does great action sequences. His action movies all look great. Those action fight scenes, guns, explosions, robots, right? Airplanes. It all looks great. Whether you like the story and the characters is a different story, but it looks great. So with that, we can say that this is playing to his strength, and hopefully he'll be able to knock it out of the park with both of these titles. Wonder Woman 2 has found its villain in Kristen Wiig playing Cheetah, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Not being overly familiar with the character of Cheetah, I wanted to go back and do a little research to try and figure out like what it is about the backstory that really feels like it could work for this new film that Patty Jenkins was so excited about. I knew going in that Cheetah is literally a girl that looks like a cheetah, and she's got superpowers, and she's basically like a god, a demigod, similar to Wonder Woman, and she is in like the arch nemesis category. She's part of the rogues gallery of villains for Wonder Woman. So automatically I knew that there's that history there, but I didn't really know much about the history or how Kristen Wiig could really fit into this character and the persona that goes into Cheetah. So I wanted to do a little research, so I pulled up the internet, did a quick Google, did some reading on it, and we're gonna discuss it right now. So there is a little bit of a difference as far as like who gets to be Cheetah, what Cheetah is, and what Cheetah evolves into from the early story. So the very first Cheetah was from 1943, and that was by a character of the name of Priscilla Rich. And she's a blonde aristocrat who is neurotic. She's got multiple personality disorder, and she has a mental breakdown after attempting to kill Wonder Woman. And in the mirror, she sees the reflection of this cheetah-like character, and then she just becomes that character. She wears a cheetah costume. She doesn't turn into a full human cheetah like a hybrid. She just wears the costume, and she continues to try and kill Wonder Woman throughout the stories. And she sees, like, in the conversation, like what you'd see in Spider-Man, the first one, the Sam Raimi one with Green Goblin, where William Dafoe is talking to himself in the mirror and it's like two different people. There's that type of thing that happens. The second version is Debbie Domain, and that's actually Priscilla's niece. And she gets captured, tortured, and brainwashed into becoming the Cheetah. So there's not as much there as far as that's concerned, but still interesting nonetheless. The third and fourth both share one similarity as far as archaeology goes. The third one is Barbara Ann Minerva, and she is a neurotic archaeologist that, while like on an expedition in Africa, finds this tribe that has the cheetah, ends up killing her, killing everybody in the tribe except for a priest who helps her become the cheetah. But the cheetah, because she wants to become immortal, but the cheetah, whoever becomes the cheetah, whatever woman becomes the cheetah, has to be a virgin for the whole thing to work, the process to work, so that she can gain the immortality and powers of the cheetah. And she's not, and so there's the disfigurement that happens to her body to where she actually looks like a hybrid lady cheetah, like a human lady meets cheetah, which is the one I think most people are familiar with who read the comics. In fact, I'll go ahead and throw a photo of that right now, right here, so you can go ahead and just take a look real quick and see like what we're talking about right now as far as to like what a hybrid woman cheetah looks like. So this is probably what we're gonna get. This is like the motion capture version that she may play, as far as to like half woman, half cheetah. And her story really like picks up with regards to the lasso of truth because she likes to collect these artifacts, right? Since she's an archaeologist. And so that plays into that whole storyline as well. And the last one is Barbara Cavendish. She speaks 7 languages. She has 2 PhDs. She is also an archaeologist. And she's actually tricked by the sons of Ares into going on this expedition with them to turn her into a demigod. And the whole thing, again, similar to what we just talked about with the last one. Everything goes awry. They try and use her to find Themyscira. So you can see kind of how these things are going to play into the world of Wonder Woman. With the character trying to find the lasso of truth to add it to her collection, with the character trying to find Themyscira, with the character being an archaeologist, and us already knowing that Wonder Woman, Princess Diana, actually works at the Louvre, right, in the archaeology section. There's already little tie-ins that we can see happening between what the comic book history is for this villain, as well as what's already established in the DC film universe right now. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how that plays out. I think Kristen Wiig is a nice choice because I believe she'll be able to carry off the kind of split neurotic personality of what this character is in the comic books. And I believe she'll also be able to add some kind of sarcastic, almost sardonic humor to the whole thing. It'll be a really nice kind of flavor against the almost stoic approach that Wonder Woman has in all of her delivery and her lines. When you have somebody who's so darkly sarcastic and everything else coming up against her, who is probably going to be doing motion capture to look like half woman, half cheetah. I think Kristen Wiig will really be able to pull this off. I think she'll be able to deliver some really snarky comments. And I think it'll be, again, a nice balance between that stoic nature of Wonder Woman meets this wild, multiple split personality, kind of neurotic archaeologist in whatever version that they decide to go with for the cheetah. So go ahead and sound off below in the comment section if you're a big Wonder Woman's fan as far as the comics are concerned, and let us know which version of Cheetah you'd like to see brought to the big screen, or why you think kind of blending different versions could work. Sony and Vin Diesel have closed a deal for him to star in the new Bloodshot movie, which starts principal photography in July, according to Deadline. Link for the article in the description box below. So for all the long-time watchers of this show, back at season 1, forever ago, we actually did talk about this story. We covered it just a little bit and kind of dove into what the character is and everything like that. So it's nice to see that months later, they finally were able to get everything locked up, get all of the paperwork signed so that they can move forward with this. It's also pretty exciting that they're moving so quickly. It's March right now. They're going to start principal photography in July. So they're really going to be ramping up to get this movie made and get it out into theaters. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see this drop in 2019. I would say like late summer, maybe like early fall of 2019, if they can really press this. Because in the article, they say it's going to be kind of in the vein of like an 80s action movie like RoboCop or something like that. So that to me sounds like it's going to be mostly practical effects with CGI, right? Because the character of Bloodshot, like he has all of the nanites in his body, so he can shapeshift and ultra heal super quick and stuff like that, interface with technology. Like he's basically like Cyborg or RoboCop, but like a military special forces unit, right? So there's that element of it that I particularly think will be fun. And again, when they say it's going to be in the vein of like 80s action like RoboCop or something like that, again, that leads me to believe practical sets, right? Not a lot of CGI, but maybe they're going to do CGI like motion capture. Just what we talked about with Cheetah, that's probably what they're going to do for this character with Vin Diesel. So you may see some behind the scenes footage of him with the things with the dots all over his face and his body and stuff like that. Like what Andy Serkis does with a lot of his different characters, especially with what he did for the Planet of the Apes franchise. So I am excited to see what's going to come of this because I like the idea of like 80s action, practical sets on site locations, right? Not on a soundstage like, or like a lot of computer generated images, but like in a downtown somewhere where it looks real. It looks like it's happening in a real life place. I really dig that vibe. Make it a little gritty, right? Realism. It sounds super cool. And then you just have this character who's like a nanite body that can like transform and shapeshift, like walking around all of these real life looking places. I think this could be a lot of fun. Now I'll have to wait and see what the trailers look like. We'll have to wait and see what some of the behind the scenes photos that leak online look like. Also, what's the casting going to be like? Who's going to be joining him in this adventure? Like we've got a lot of information we still need to get for this film. But like I said, it's starting to film in July. So that means we should start getting this information pretty quickly as like far as that's concerned. Because you can't really start filming a movie without a cast. At least I think you can't. Comment below and let me know if you can start filming without a cast. Honorable mentions this week. The Whitney Houston documentary, Whitney, is scheduled for release July 6th, 2018. Elizabeth Shue and Rob Morgan join Tom Hanks in Greyhound. Karen McCullough signs up to adapt the novel The Stylist for the big screen. 20th Century Fox has hired Alan Loeb to write a romantic comedy for Ryan Reynolds to star in. James Gunn and Elizabeth Banks reunite to make another horror movie. And that wraps up the news this week. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and give me that thumbs up, because the thumbs up helps people who like movie-related shows find this movie-related show right here on YouTube. All right, we're gonna go ahead and segue now right into the movie review segment. This week I got out to the theaters to see 2 different films. We're gonna talk about those right now, and they are both spoiler-filled reviews. So stick around because we are going to talk about A Wrinkle in Time and Gringo. Then right after that, don't go anywhere because we're gonna be talking about what's arriving at your local theater, what's arriving on DVD and Blu-ray, and then my personal favorite segment, Certified Rad. So let's go ahead and roll to those spoiler-filled movie reviews right now. A scientist has gone missing and his family has not given up hope that he is still alive. In fact, his daughter, son, and wife continue to hold on to the belief that his disappearance is somehow related to the scientific experiments that he and his wife were conducting, when suddenly 3 peculiar women with odd names appear to take them on a rescue mission across the galaxy. So, does A Wrinkle in Time provide an epic, universe-traveling adventure, or should we simply iron out the wrinkles? Let's go ahead and take a look in this review. The story revolves around 3 young kids and their journey across the galaxy to find acclaimed scientist, Mr. Murray, played by Chris Pine. 2 of the children are brother and sister, while the third is completely useless. Which was odd because before the adventure begins, we're actually told that he has diplomatic skills, and that's why he was brought on this adventure. And this is stated directly to the character and us as an audience by the optimistic and energetic Charles Wallace, played by Derek McCabe. So the entire movie, I'm sitting there waiting to find out what situation these three kids are going to be put in. What type of peril will they face? That we'll have to see these diplomatic skills come into play to where he'll have to help resolve a situation out by talking through it. And that moment never comes. We don't see that skill of his come into play in this movie at all. In fact, he falls into peril only to be saved by flowers who gossip, and then he eats a sandwich that's actually made of sand. If his character in the book serves a purpose, that was not conveyed at all in this movie. Again, useless. Mr. Murray's highly intelligent daughter, Meg, played by Storm Reed, is the hero of this movie, as the trailers suggest. It's because of her spirit, her intellect, her heart, maybe all three, that she is chosen to help find her father. In all, this movie looks great and is told poorly. The story does not flow. Plot details are spoon-fed to us. The characters are able to figure out solutions to problems with minimal effort. Almost like they knew in advance the troubles that lie ahead. The kids acted like kids, the adults acted like adults, and the three peculiar women acted like caricatures. There was an odd blending of acting meets overacting, which made for an unpleasant movie experience for me. In fact, I actually did a watch check to see how much longer this movie was going to be and how much longer I was going to be in that theater. A Wrinkle in Time is playing at your local movie theater right now. If you can walk into the movie and enjoy it simply for the visuals, this is the movie for you. Again, the plot details are spoon-fed to us, the story is predictable, and it has a cast that feels natural and absurd all at the same time. The visuals are spectacular. This might even look great in 3D. I wouldn't know though, I did not see this in 3D. If you saw this in 3D, go ahead and leave your comment in the comment below about how stunning or captivating the film looked in 3D. Before this review concludes, the one aspect of this film that I really did enjoy was the overarching theme. We find out that an overly ambitious father puts himself in peril, and it's through the love of his children, one child in particular, that saves him and is able to unite the family once more. It's her resilience and strong moral fiber that is able to fight back and ward off all the negative energy that is trying to overtake her, the planet, the universe, as well as prevent her family from reuniting. She's able to resist, and because of this, stops the evil from overtaking the universe, showing that love, believing in yourself, and believing in the importance and value of family will save the day. However, and unfortunately, that message, as well as the incredible visuals, are not enough to save this film, and because of that, it's getting 0 high fives from this guy. A Wrinkle in Time is playing at your local movie theater right now. A businessman is sent to Mexico to check on a production plant that is responsible for a new marijuana pill that is about to go into mass distribution. Things are not quite as they seem in Mexico, and suddenly your average businessman is being hunted by his company, a drug cartel, and a specialist. So, does Gringo deliver on the action and comedy promised in the trailers, or should we stop this film at the border? Let's dive in and take a look in this review. The story examines one man, Harold Soyinka, played by David Oyelowo, at one particular point in his life. He is a man who is always trying to do the right thing and be a competent, trustworthy employee, as well as a loyal and loving husband and friend. Harold is genuinely an innocent in his approach to life and how he views it. And I didn't realize the exactness of this innocence that he carries with him until the very end of the film when he gives the camera one single look. And that is the look of a man whose innocence is no more. The journey this character goes on in this film tests the very fiber of his being and his faith. It's through this transformative journey that we see, sadly, a kind-hearted and innocent man accept the harsh realities of life and the truth of the relationships he has with those he holds most dear. By the end of the film, he is a completely broken man. But his faith is not. And because of that, well, I won't spoil the ending. I'll just say that every character has a fitting end to their role in this film, as well as Harold's life. The film is shot pretty well for an action comedy that carries some of those independent kind of movie qualities to it, and I actually enjoyed the overall look of the film. The fist fights, the gun fights, the car chases, the car accidents, they all look pretty good. And I also enjoyed some of the comedy in this film. Even though the comedy is a little bit darker, I still found it enjoyable and amusing. However, just like A Wrinkle in Time, some of the characters felt more like caricatures. And what I mean by that is these people actually felt like hyper-exaggerated versions of what the people in real life would probably act like. Also with that, for the most part, they're all pretty much terrible people. And surprisingly, in their terribleness, it really helped shine and put a light on the genuine, kind-hearted, innocent man that Harold is in this film. He literally is just a kind-hearted, innocent guy who's caught in the middle of a few deadly situations that he is not familiar with. It's literally one life-threatening moment after another until the very end where we see that he is completely broken by the real world. So there's this odd blending of like real world meets cartoony. Gringo is playing at your local movie theater right now. And if you're the type of person who likes action comedies that feel kind of indie, then I will recommend you check this out once it's available on DVD or your preferred streaming service. At its core, it is the story about one man. However, there are enough twists and turns that definitely keep the film entertaining. To counter that though, the first act of the film, where they're introducing us to the characters in the movie as well as to what the plot's going to be, that whole first act takes a really long time and it feels forever long. But once it's up and running, the film is up and running. I was surprised and incredibly impressed at how well this film examines the heart and faith of one man who's going through such a turbulent and chaotic time in his life. However, that alone was not enough to make this film completely enjoyable. And because of that, it's getting 0 high fives from this guy. Gringo is playing at your local movie theater right now. And that concludes the movie review segment. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. We're going to go ahead and move now into what's arriving in theaters this week, what's arriving in DVD and Blu-ray for your home theater this week, and Certified Rad. So let's take a look at what's dropping at your local theater. In theaters this week, Tomb Raider, Love, Simon, Flower. Out of these three films, the one I'm most excited about is Tomb Raider. In fact, I just went back and watched the first one from 2001 and did a DVD review on that. I'll go ahead and throw that card up right here. You can click on that and that'll take you right to that DVD review. And you can check that out so that everything is fresh in your mind about what the first one offered. So I'm excited to revisit this world, revisit Lara Croft and kind of like what she's doing and what she's becoming, because this looks like it's going to be more of like a prequel of like how she becomes the character that we know from the video games, which I think has a lot of potential. Next up is Love, Simon, and that is labeled as a romantic comedy, and it looks like it actually is going to be pretty good. It's been getting some good positive buzz online already before its release, so if you have an interest in seeing that type of film, you may want to check it out. After that is Flower, which is labeled as a dark comedy. And I honestly don't know anything about this film. When I saw it on the listing of films coming out, I was like, what is this film? I hadn't seen a trailer for it. I don't remember seeing previews for it. So that may be something you want to check out too if you want to go into a film with zero information and just have a completely clean slate with no preconceived notions about what the film may be. That might be the film for you. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what's arriving on DVD and Blu-ray this week for your home theater. On DVD and Blu-ray this week, Justice League, Ferdinand, The Disaster Artist, The Shape of Water, I, Tonya, Call Me By Your Name. What an incredible week for DVD and Blu-ray releases. I mean, this is a stacked week. If you're the type of person who likes to buy physical media like I am, this is a pretty big week for you. I mean, look at this list. Again, Justice League, while it wasn't a great film, it's still Batman and the gang all coming together. So I think with special features and stuff like that, maybe some behind the scenes stuff on the Blu-ray extras, it might kind of help flesh out some of the issues we had as to why the film ended up the way it did. So hopefully some of that's explained and we can enjoy the Blu-ray. Ferdinand is the animated film about the bull. And while I didn't see it in theaters, it did get some pretty positive buzz on it, and you may want to check it out, especially if you have kids. Next up is The Disaster Artist. Again, a film that completely caught people by surprise. It's a movie about a movie being made, from what I was told. So I'm looking forward to seeing this now that it's available on DVD and Blu-ray. Next up is The Shape of Water. This film won Best Picture at the Academy Awards. It also won for director. Guillermo del Toro picked up that award as well for his work on this film. I personally love The Shape of Water. It was one of my favorite films of last year, so I'm very excited that it's now on DVD and Blu-ray for more people to check out. So I'm definitely going to encourage you guys to check out The Shape of Water now that it's available. Stream this, pick it up, Redbox it, rent it, buy it, do whatever you got to do. But this film is absolutely wonderful. Definitely recommending you guys pick this up. I'm going to go ahead and throw a card up right here for my Shape of Water review. If you want more information, just click that card. It'll take you right to my review of Shape of Water, and you can get all the info you need before you check this out on DVD. Next up is I, Tonya, and I'm going to recommend you guys check this one out as well. I really enjoyed I, Tonya. This film surprised me. When I walked out of the theater, I couldn't get over how much I enjoyed a movie about a story I was already familiar with. Puts a really nice spin on things. You get a really good idea of who the characters are in the piece. Allison Janney as the mother just absolutely delivers an incredible performance. Margot Robbie as well as Tonya Harding just knocks it out of the park. Really going to recommend you guys check I, Tonya out. Next up is Call Me By Your Name. Now, I haven't seen this one, but Timothée Chalamet did get nominated for an Academy Award. He got nominated for the Oscar for Best Actor in a Motion Picture. So he must deliver a performance in this film that was truly great. So if you have any interest, you may want to check that out. Again, I haven't seen it, so I can't really recommend it, but he did get nominated for his role in this film, so that may be worth your time and money. All right, let's go ahead and move now into my favorite segment. You guys never know what's going to drop, but I can guarantee that whatever drops will most definitely be certified rad. This week's Certified Rad is coming to us from Knox County Humane Society from Galesburg, Illinois. And what this group has managed to do is they have managed to find people and businesses that were going out of business or getting rid of furniture. And they've managed to get that furniture donated to the Humane Society so that the pets who are waiting for adoption don't have to be confined in these cages all the time. They can have chairs and such to sit on, which makes it feel more like home. So if you've ever gone to the Humane Society or anything like that, where you walk in and all of the pets are just in those cages, it never really feels like the pets are having a good time. It feels just like they're kind of just like waiting around. The pets don't look happy. Then like you walk in and all of a sudden they like come to life, and that's a good feeling. But you look at them and you're like, they're just in this little tiny cell and it doesn't really look like home, right? So this Humane Society was able to actually get these companies or people who are getting rid of their furniture to donate it to help the pets have an experience to feel more like home, so they didn't feel like they're all just caged in, which was what's happening while they wait for adoption. Instead of just taking your furniture and like throwing it in the dumpsters, waiting for the trash man to come pick it up and haul it to the dump, like you're actually giving it to a group that's trying to help pets find better homes and to make that experience while they wait even better. I think that most definitely is certified rad. All right, and that concludes this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end. I do appreciate it. And if you enjoyed any portion of the show, please do give me that thumbs up. The thumbs up actually helps people who like movie-related shows find this movie-related show right here on YouTube. All right, everybody, I've got to get out of here and get over to Facebook Live because we're about to do a live stream where we talk the weekend box office, as well as 1 or 2 news stories that may have dropped. All right, thank you so much. Don't forget to click subscribe if you haven't. Have a great rest of your week, and I hope to see you right now on Facebook Live. Take care. Bye-bye. Hi, I'm Jeremy Brunansky, and you've just finished watching another episode of Brunansky's Vlog. Along with the weekly show, we also have special segments, as well as DVD and video on-demand reviews that you may want to check out. Thank you so much for watching this brand new episode, and we'll see you next Monday at 10 a.m. PST for another brand new episode of Brunansky's Vlog. Have a great week, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.